Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We got an action-packed show, and the show's building itself. We have markets on the move. We have weather events starting to happen around the world. We have a hurricane that's going to hit the U.S. Is it going to come right up the middle, or is it going to go to the right like when I bowl? We don't know. These hurricanes can do anything, but we know this: they typically bring a lot of moisture. Do we need the moisture? Is the timing not right? Watching the weather before this, maybe our farmers in Georgia are going to get too much rain right when they don't need it. We could have used this rain in Ohio a month and a half ago. With that, we got a lot of things happening, a lot of green on the screen, starting to roll over. Well, the only red thing I see on the screen is the interest rates. But let's go to LaSalle Street, then we'll go to Wall Street. Brady Huck's with me today, and we'll break all this down one by one. Looking at LaSalle Street here, all eyes on corn. D's corn up 10, was up 12. No beans up 27. They were up as much as about 30 cents at one point. Big day in the oil and the meal. Of course, looking at our wheats, Board of Trade wheat up 16. KC and Minneapolis hanging in there. Also, an overall great day. Looking at meats real quick, we have live cattle up 100, feeder cattle hanging in there too, up 70. Let's go to Wall Street. Seeing some strength again in gold. As you know, gold hit all-time highs yesterday, or not yesterday, but all last week. We kept saying gold all-time highs. A lot of talk of that. We'll see what happens here. Outside markets all over the place. We're seeing the Dow Jones unchanged right now. S&P's up 8 or 10. NASDAQ up 50. Interest rates going back up, which is interesting because we had a rate cut of 50 last week, but interest rates are going back up. Let's bring Brady Huck in the show. He's got some charts and graphs. We can go through a couple things. We're starting to get to some resistance or maybe even breaking out in the soybeans. What's going on, Brady?
Hey, it's good to see a green day on the grains, Tommy. I like it. Great way to start the week. What a move.
Yeah, right at harvest. Probably be a short show. We got to start calling clients, texting clients, get out of here, texting pro media clients, and of course, regular clients. But this is a significant rally when you can see beans up this much at harvest and corn this much up at harvest. This can maybe change what people are going to do. What do you think?
I love it, Tommy. When I think about this, though, I think, is this rally getting you bulled up and saying, see, I told you so? Or is it, giving you a second chance to go out and do something? Looking back at history, a year ago, Tommy, we were short, the funds were short 145,000 corn. We're 135,000 short corn. But a year ago, the price of D's corn was 476, not 412. And we saw a rally, kind of similar time frame, 25-cent rally, went up to 509 by the end of October, and it's been down ever since. So I don't know. My mind goes back to last year, and is there selling? Are we getting busy out in the field, and are we going to do something with these prices moving higher? Or are we going to just get bulled up and hope that they go to 6, 7, 8? I don't know where. But
yeah, sometimes it takes a while when we rally this early in the morning to for farmers to check their prices. They're getting ready. They're all geared up for harvest, whether it's starting today, tomorrow, last week. But typically at the end of the day on Fridays, like we see, we had harvest pressure. We may have a little bit today, but this feels significant. It feels real. There's also things happening in the world with geopolitics. You kind of keep an eye on crude oil and natural gas and stuff like that. I didn't mention natural gas. My quote board got all switched. I was having a hard time. Natural gas, 25.70. Just a few months ago, it had a 19 in front of it. Little things changing there. Gold hit all-time highs last week, and you got to wonder, with these half-point rate cuts, are we starting to see the funds maybe take a little protection and buying these commodities, getting this upside back in commodities, Brady?
yeah, good comments. A lot of rotation, flight to safety, a lot of moving parts, and yeah, it's just the beginning to me, Tommy. Right before the election, after the election, you talked on RFD this morning. Listened to you, had some great stuff to say there. But talking about the volatility going into the election, but possibly after and the shakeup afterwards. So
it's possible policy changes, regardless who's in the office, and you got to watch the Senate and the House and the whole deal. It's a big deal, and it's not only a big deal in this country, but we have elections all over the world happening. Do you have some charts and graphs? You're going to bring a couple of things to us.
Yeah, let's start with, it's a Monday and the grains are up, but it's also a Monday for the USDA. We had a flash sale this morning, Tommy, and the USDA threw this up 165,000 metric tons of beans. They said the export sale to China in the headline, but it's unknown. They came out 30 minutes later and said, actually, that's unknown, but I think they might have just been telling us what we all were thinking anyway. Unknown beans sales usually go to China, but good to see that coming up on the radar here this morning. bean sales to China unknown, wherever they go. It's good to see them going out the door, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a monster day. The funds look to be covering, and not as easy to tell as when we had the pits and everything else. We can kind of feel it, kind of see it. Watch your volume. I know some days we have light trading. There's some people out there who've been saying for a while, look at the oats. The oats are going up. You got to understand, folks. Something like oats only trades like 3,000 contracts. It's kind of a light contract. Something I mentioned on RFD TV, not something I pay a lot of attention to, but the price of sugar exploded last week. The price of cotton went up like 340 last week, and soybeans spent 10, 12 days just coiling, coiling, coiling. It looks like they're busting out. We'll see how they finish up the day, but something significant.
Feels like a rising tide is lifting all the boats here, Tommy.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like people feel like they're missing out too.
Mhm.
It felt like grains were going to be really slow here the next few days, and all of a sudden we get one of these. Just you don't want to let your guard down, folks. This is why uh, so many people have suggested we know you're out of space or you're going to be out of space, some re-ownership program somehow. And of course, someone could talk to you about that. Cattle on feed, you did a little special on Friday. Talk about that a little bit.
Yep. Really, the numbers weren't too far out of line. Going to flash those up here real quick. 106 on 100.6 versus the average estimate of 100.7. Placements came in line, pretty much nailed it. Marketing's pretty much nailed it as well. You could dig a little subsurface into the report and look at different regional differences. Placements in Kansas were pretty light, 95% of a year ago. There's more cattle in Nebraska. There's more cattle in Texas. Just I don't know, kind of a nothing burger. Moving on to the next thing, we know the supply story. It's all about the cutout and demand, and then imported product. But we continue to provide enough beef to meet consumer demand and keep prices from getting too out of whack. And we got to remember in the beef segment that there's competing proteins. That yeah, who knows? I don't know, but it was kind of a nothing burger on Friday, Tommy G.
Mhm. Yeah,
Kind
and
of a
you
nothing.
explained that you did a good, and then you digested the numbers. Even that was one of Friday or Saturday's premiums. We also have the stock market not far from all-time highs. I know it's had some volatility. Some of the outside people talked about a gamma squeeze on Friday. It gets complicated. We could explain it to you. But just know that there's a lot of things happening in the world that are not your normal. We went up, we went down. There's inner workings of these options. And as September came off the board in the stock industry world, we had a big move. Other things I'm looking at, I'm just constantly watching crude oil, kind of as an indicator. Is everything okay in the world? Crude oil up 60 cents. What do you watch on your quote board, Brady, during a typical day just to stay balanced? Like, hey, we're flooded with corn and beans and cattle, but what are your little indicators you watch just to see something different?
I like you throwing crude out there because that's a good thing to keep your eye on. What I've been a lot of time watching the equities and are we breaking out to new highs, especially last week with the Fed meeting and how our equities going to react. That's a huge driver to money flow. Where's the money going? There's a lot of money out there, and it's got to get parked somewhere where they want the best return. Fund managers, where are they going to park that money? Is it in commodities or is it in equities? And I think we'll see some big flows back and forth here over the coming months as we try to figure out how the next 6 months are going to play out, Tommy.
Absolutely. Speaking of money flows, the S&P 500 is up 19%. That's the one thing everyone tries to beat. Hey, there's all these people out there who want to invest money for you. If they can't beat the S&P and you can just index it, you don't need a broker or anyone else. You can just go and index it. If you don't understand what that is, just ask someone. But there's all types of diamond, Spidey SKUs, little stack things you could do. That's just a whole bundle. In our world, we watch S&P and Dow, but long-term investing, you don't need to buy 500 stocks. You could just buy one thing that has it all wrapped up in it. Hard to beat 19%, although it's attractive that you can give the government and get 5%. 19 is a little bit more than 5. And when you look at our commodities, they're down so much on the year, and some of the things we trade, maybe we were oversold, and maybe other things were overbought as we rotate out, Brady.
Yeah, I want ownership going forward. I like the farmer owning and being optimistic about this market. That's what the position we want to be in, right? But at the end of the day, we can't ignore a 25, 30 cent rally in beans and bouncing off of those recent lows. It's why we do what we do, Tommy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about premium a little bit. We're just pumping it out. We already pumped out Mick this morning with weather. He's going to keep us up to date with that hurricane. You did cattle on Friday and Saturday. You did two of them. A lot of interesting things. We're going to have a lot of people talking about the Fed here. We'll keep bringing premium content to you. Questions, comments, drop them. Otherwise, Brady, we're going to get out of here because there is a lot going on and we got to do our normal day job. What do you got here?
Luke, talked to some growers over the weekend. Corn in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, averaging in the 40s. Farmer in Anson County, North Carolina, said his total farm average this year was 23 bushels per acre. Hurricane needs to stay west. You don't want to touch that hurricane, Luke, right now. That's kind of typical. My thought is typical. Rain's coming in at the harvest when you don't want it. They weren't there during the growing season. I appreciate the comment, Luke. Wish your production was better. Going to be interesting how grain flows to the East Coast and that Mid-Atlantic region with, some problems maybe in Ohio and then problems in Mid-Atlantic. Going to pull some bushels out of Illinois, Indiana, in my opinion.
Yeah, folks, as always, if you want to book an appointment with myself, Brady, Connor, Joe, just go to the Advanced Trading website. You can go over there. Just say, hey, I watched the show. I'd like to book a half hour with you guys. I think Joe or Rick, I think we got that as a pop-up. But you can go to the ATI Pro Media website, go to the Advanced Trading website. They're linked, and you can actually make an appointment with us. Just say, I'd like to spend a little time with you guys. I have some needs here at Harvest. You can click that, too. That's one of them. I don't know what we did with the other one. It's Monday, folks. We do have a big market going home. Beans up 29, corn up 10. Let's see if we can hold this level. With that, there we are. Have questions, request a speaker, contact us. Go to the Advanced Trading website, and if you want to book a half-hour appointment with one of the ATI Pro Media crew or anyone from Advanced Trading, go ahead and go there. Well, with that, my friend, I need to start smiling and dialing, and so do you. Brady Huck, Dodge City, Kansas. Tom Grisafi, Valparaiso, Indiana. It's good to be home. It's good to see the markets up. Everyone stay safe. If you need something, give us a call. See you, Brady.
See you, Tommy.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.